The old world order is gone, and it will probably not come back. So we have to build something new, and it has to be a world order that is built on the values that we represent, the leaders standing in front of you today. We have had a totally unacceptable pressure from US and the US president. It has been very difficult for the people in Greenland to experience this. And one of the reasons why we have been able to stand firmly on very common values, that you have to respect sovereign states, that you have to respect a people's right for self-determination, is because of our good friends. The old world order is gone, and it will probably not come back.
Shalom. I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham Ha-Rakat Kodash, double honors unto our apostle elders, which ruled Great Millstone well and which taught us the truth. Alright, as you just saw this woman that is put in power in Esau's kingdom, that the old order is done away with and there's a new world order, which there's pressure coming from America, which they're going to make the world go digital with the implantable microchip, the mark of the beast. But this is why she says that America is applying pressure. All right.
So we have to build something new, and it has to be a world order that is built on the values that we represent, the leaders standing in front of you today. We have had...
See, in their image, which they're in the image of Rome, all right?
A totally unacceptable pressure from US and the US president.
And the pressure is coming from America because they want to make the world go digital with the implantable microchip, the mark of the beast, which it says this in Revelation 13, verse. So here in Revelation 13, verse, I'll start at 9. It says, if any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here's the patience and the faith of the saints. So the sanctified Israelites are meditating on the word of Yahweh, waiting on Yahweh Shai, but at the same time there's going to be judgment going out. All right? As it says, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. So Esau's kingdom is going to be destroyed in violence, and they're going to go into captivity, the majority going into destruction, because America is going to lose World War III. All right? According to biblical prophecy. And that's why we're meditating on the word. We're hoping to be saved at Yahweh Shai's return, as it was promised to the Israelites that we would be saved. It says in verse 11, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, the Democrat and the Republican, and they call themselves philanthropists, being that they act like they're trying to save the world, but really they are the sword, and they bring chaos and discord in society. All right, they rule through chaos. It says, and he had two horns like a lamb. The two horns is the Democrat and the Republican, and he spake as a dragon. And they push forth draconian law to pretty much put you to death if you refuse to accept their implantable microchip, which they're going to make worldwide mandatory for buying and selling. It says in Revelation 13, verse 12, and he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, because it's in the image of Rome, whose deadly wound was healed, which it's healed by America's existence, and he doth great wonders, the so-called white race, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven through their missiles on the earth in the sight of men, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles, which is his technology. It says, which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, the European Union, which together they have NATO, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image. So there's pressure coming from this whore to the other nations that are confederate with this whore to make an image, a new world order to the beast. So they're trying to reinvent Rome again. It says, which had the wound by a sword and did live. So Rome was the one that was wounded by a sword and did live. It lived again through America and the European Union. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, which we're seeing this new world order come to life, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed, which they want to put an implantable microchip, the mark of the beast, in your body, all right, which they're going to pretty much control your data, all right, and pretty much their want is to manipulate your mind, okay, and if you're an Israelite, this will condemn you to the nuclear destruction that is the judgment of this great whore. All right. It says, and he, the so-called white race, which this is their kingdom, they are the wicked, and they rule the world in a wicked way through America, the great whore, Babylon the Great. And he causeth all, both small and great, and rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, which is that implantable microchip, the mark of the beast. They're going to make it mandatory for buying and selling. They're going to go digital. And that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark of the beast. The mark of the beast, it says, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast, or the number of his name, which is in that chip. So you won't be able to move. You won't be able to do grocery shopping. You won't be able to have a job without that implantable microchip. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, the so-called white race, the red devil the Bible speaks of. And his number is 636, Chi Xi stigma, which they have the intention to cut into your flesh and implant a microchip, all right? An RFID implantable microchip for buying and selling, for identification, all right? That's their heart's desire, the so-called white race. They want to implant this microchip on everyone in the world, all right? And that's the New World Order. And after they make that implantable microchip mandatory for buying and selling, the great whore is going to lose World War III and be turned into a lake of fire. Revelation 17:1. And there came one of the seven angels which had the seven vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters, which those many waters are the different nations of people, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication. They commit idolatry through their Christianity, through their democracy, through their fiat currency, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication, her false doctrines. Let me jump down to verse 15, it says, "And he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth," the whore is America, "are people and multitudes and nations and tongues." This is why it's considered a sea of people. "And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore," which that's the European Union, which with America they have NATO, and it tells you the beast, which is that European Union with NATO, "these shall hate the whore." America is the whore that rides that beast. "And shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire." All right. So it's going to go into perdition. All right. It says, "For our power, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai have put in their hearts to fulfill his will and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast." So this system exists because it was prophesied, and it's going into perdition as prophesied, until the words of our power, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, shall be fulfilled. Shalom to the elect wa abababal.